Good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are doing well. So warm greetings to you all. So have you all revising till yesterday's portion? So have you all studied what are the things I said? So now we are studying about which chapter? Chapter 5. So what's the importance of fifth chapter? What's the chapter name? Python, variables and operators. So, this chapter you have studied one of the most important programming language called Python, isn't it? So, this chapter you have studied one of the most important programming language called what? Python, isn't it? So, last class I have just gave the introduction part about Python and how you are going to use this Python language for your practical, isn't it? So which version you are using? So this year, which version you are using? Python 3.x ideal. So what are the steps you need to follow to open the Python in your system? So up to that things, so we have discussed in the last class, isn't it? Yes. So today, from today onwards, you are going to study what are the things or what are the important concepts they have used in this programming language. Okay. So today we are going to study about functions in Python. Okay. So what topic today you are going to study? Functions. So all the things already you have studied in 11th standard in C++ language. Okay. Same thing only they have given here also. Some only different. So listen. What's the first function means? Input and output function. Okay. So what's the first function? Input and output function. So this input and output function already you have studied thorough in C++ program 11th standard, isn't it? Yes. What do you mean by input and what do you mean by output? Okay. So what's the use of giving input? So whether you will get proper output without giving the proper input. So for example, in which way I am giving input to you? In which way? By taking class or by teaching. I am giving input, isn't it? By means of taking class, by means of teaching. So that is called as input. So I am interacting to whom? To you. So I am interacting to students by means of teaching. So what output I am expecting? You need to study your lessons. First, you need to listen the class, understand the concepts, study thorough. You need to write the exam well and I'll expect good marks from you. That is called as output. Understood? What do you mean by input and output? Same way, so we need to interact to the system. So for humans, if we are speaking to some other means, they will hear and they will interact with you by hearing your voice or what kind of speech you are giving. Based on that kind of reply, they will give. That is called as interaction or communication. So whether you can able to speak to the system, for that whether the system will give proper output? No. For that you need to interact to the system. You should choose proper application or programming language. Okay. So particular user need to interact to the system to perform a particular task or you are going to expect some output from the program. For that you need to give some proper input. That input and output this you perform by using two functions called input and output functions. Understand what do you mean by input and output functions? So user needs to interact to the system or user needs to interact to the particular mobile phone or system or computer to perform the particular task. So that can be achieved by using two kinds of functions. What are they? Input functions and output function. Understood? So what input function, before going to explain about input and output, just we need to know the definition of input. Okay. So what's the use of input or function? Okay. What's the use of input or function? So the input or function, what's the use of input or function means? This function is used to, for use the helper to enter the data at runtime. For example, in the program you have given, so consider one example already you have studied in C++ program in your 11th standard. So all the inputs you are given by means of one function. Which function called cin? Isn't it? What is the meaning of cin? Input. So what are the inputs you need to give? That inputs you need to type in the statement cin. So what output needs to print in the output screen, that you will give in which statement? Cout. The same thing here in Python programming language, you are giving in which function? Input or function. Okay. So what's the use of input or function? This function is used to give some input data or enter data at runtime by the user. That's important. For example, you are giving cin, enter the value of a. Okay. So after you are executing the program, the what line it will display in the output screen? Enter the value of a. So where you are giving the value of a? In output screen. That is called as enter the data at runtime. Understand? So what do you mean by enter the data at runtime? So while you are running the program, you will get output. In that output screen, you are giving some values as an input. That is called as data at runtime. Understand? So what's the use of input function? This function is used to enter the data at what time? Runtime. Okay. Understand? Yes. Next is called output function. So what output function is used in C++ to display the output? Which function you are using? Cout. Same thing in Python, which function you are using to display the output means printf function. This and all important 2 mark questions as well as important 1 mark questions. Understand? So which function is used to display the result on output screen? Which function? Printf. Understand? So whatever you need to display something in an output screen, that things you need to give inside which function? Printf function. So what's the use of printf function? This function is used to display the result of the program in where? In the screen after you are executing particular things need to display on the screen. That you need to give in which function? Printf function. So understand the difference between input and output of function. Which function is used to give input? Input of. Which function is used to give output? Printf function. Understand? Yes. Listen. Now we are going to study about somewhat elaborated manner about printf function. Okay. So listen. So what's the use of printf function? Already I said this function is used to display. That means what are the things you are given inside the printf function. So it will display as it is in the output screen. Okay, that's the use of printf function. That already you know. So the syntax of printf function. So likewise C program, this Python program also have syntax for each and every functions. Understand? So this is what's the syntax of printf function means. See this first one, printf. How you need to give the printf function? So listen carefully. So already I said this chapter is very important for your practical purpose. So all these things were included in your practicals. So at that time I'll ask question. So listen carefully and study these things. Okay. So what's something need to display on the screen means you need to give inside which function? Printf function. So listen. Printf, inside I am giving string to be displayed as output. What do you mean by string? For example, computer. Computer has how many characters? COMPUTER. 8 characters. isn't it? So that 8, the word computer we are calling as a string. C separate, C, O separately, that we are calling as an character. Understand? So string to be displayed as output. So whatever you have, maybe it is a sentence, or it may be a paragraph, or it may be a word. Whatever you have given inside this printf function, you will be displayed output. Understand? That is string to be displayed as output. Understand? Next thing, print of variable. For example, print of A. That means already you have given some values for A. Now you are going to print the variable A. Understand? Yes. Next one, print string to be displayed as output. That means which string you are going to given as output, that string and variable. So this and all they have given in next slide. I will explain with example. Then only you will understand. Okay. So see this program. Is it visible for you? Listen. So inside the printf function, I am giving welcome to Python programming. What is this one? What is this one? Printf string to be displayed. So which string I am going to display in the output screen? Welcome to Python programming. What's the output you will get? Welcome to Python programming. Understand? Yes, this is the one example. Next example. See, x equal to 5. What's the meaning of this one? The value of x is 5. This and all inputs. I am giving input. X equal to 5. Y equal to 6. Next, I am going to add these two variables. What are the variables? X and y. So, what's the value now? 5 plus 6. 5 plus 6 equal to 11. So, that variable, that value I am going to store in a variable called z. Understand? So, I am going to add two variables called x and y. That means 5 plus 6. So, that answer I am storing in one variable called z. Understand? So, which variable you need to print now? Which variable? Z. Why? The result needs to be stored in variable z. So, what's the result you will get? I am giving print of z. What's the value of z now? 11. Understand? This is a second syntax. So, all of you take your textbooks in your hand. The same syntax and all they are given in your textbook. Okay. So, what is this one? Print of variable. Understand? Second syntax. Then, next thing is, third example, see. The sum equal to, comma z. What's the meaning of this one? The string to be displayed. Third syntax. See it. What's the third syntax? Print of the string to be displayed, comma, variable. So, why in the place of string to be displayed, what I have given? The sum of. That's a string. Comma variable. What variable I am giving? Z. So, what's the output you will get? The sum equal to Z. What's the value of Z? 11. Understand? Yes. Next thing. Print of the string to be displayed, comma, variable 1, variable 2. Fourth syntax. Listen. So, which variable I have given here? What's the string here displayed? The sum of. What's the value of x now? 5. And what's the value of y now? 6. Is Z. What's the value of Z? 11. Understand? So, first understand this example. If you study thorough or if you understand the example thoroughly means, no need to by heart these things. By your own, you can able to write. Understood? So, first read the example. Just one time read the heading. What are things I am explaining? Just listen in. First just read the example. Then only you will get understand. Understand this example? So, what's the use of this printf function? Whatever you have given inside the printf function, it will display as a output. Isn't it? So, before printing in the output screen, the printf function will evaluate whether your syntax is correct or not, or whether you are giving in a correct format. Understand? So, whatever statement you need to display in the screen, that you need to specify in the which function? Printf function between these two brackets. Understand? So, if you are giving more than one item, here how many items you are giving? See, 1 x, then y is a. More than one item means you need to use comma symbol to separate that item. Understand? So if we are giving more than one item inside this printf function means you should use which symbol to separate that one? Comma symbol. Understand? What are things you have studied in printf function? So printf function is used to print or whatever things you are given inside the printf function, it will display as a output in the screen. So before printing the particular statement, it will evaluate the particular statement is given in a correct format. If more than one item you are giving inside the printf function means, so which symbol it will use to separate? Comma symbol. Understand? Next thing is input of function. Okay. So what's the next thing? Input of function. Okay. So what's the use of in our printf function? Already you have studied. So whatever things you are given inside the printf function, so it will take as a input and it will print in the screen as an output, isn't it? Next thing is input of function. So what do you mean by input of function? So whatever you have given inside the input of function, so this function is used to accept the data as input. Okay. So what are the things you have mentioned inside this input of function? This function will accept the particular data as a input at runtime. For that one best example I said, enter the value of A. So in the value of A you are entering in which screen? Output screen. Okay. But in input, inside the input of function you are giving enter the value of A alone. So it will display, it will get the input, enter the value of A. Then but the A you are entering in the output screen. Okay. That's the definition. What's the use of input of function? This function is used to accept the particular data as input at a which time? Runtime. Okay. So here also this input of function, the syntax is listen. Variable equal to input prompt string. Okay. So you each heading, if they ask for 2 mark question or 3 mark question means first you should write the heading. Input means input of function. Output means output of function. Then you should write the syntax. Syntax for the particular function. Okay. Then you need to explain. Understand what are things you should write? First heading you should write. Then mention the syntax. If example is there means example, then explanation. Okay, listen. 2 mark question means definition and syntax enough. Okay. 3 mark question means definition, syntax and explanation of the syntax. Understand? Yes. So listen. What's the syntax they are given? Variable equal to input prompt string. Okay. So in this, what do you mean by prompt string? Prompt string means nothing but, so what are the statements or what are the message particular user or you are giving us an input. Okay. So what are the whatever maybe, what data or what are the things, what may be information or statements or message or a word or anything. What are the things you are giving inside this input of that means statements or message from the user. Particular user is giving some, for example, enter the value of A. Then what's the prompt string? Enter the value of A. Understand? So prompt string means it is a statement or message from the, it will get particular input from the user or what type of input you are given to the computer. Okay. What's the use of prompt string? It is a syntax. So it will denote what kind of input you are giving to the program or giving to the system. Okay. So in which way you will give input? For example, enter the value of A. From where you will type the value of A? From keyboard. Isn't it? So whatever inside the input of function, whatever you are giving as an input, how you will give, what are the things you are typing by means of keyboard, it will accept the particular thing as an input. Understand? So what are the things you are typing in the keyboard, it will take particular data as an input and assign the input to the particular variable. Okay. Suppose you are not giving inside this input of function, then no message will display on the screen. Okay. If there is no function, you are no message you are giving in the place of prompt string, then it will display there is no message in the output screen. Understand? Yes, listen. This is the example for input of function. Listen carefully. Listen. City. So last compare the syntax and study. What? Variable equal to input of prompt string. Isn't it? So what's the variable name here? What's the variable name? City. City equal to variable name city equal to input of what's the prompt string here? Enter your city. So if you are executing this program, what output you will get? Enter your city. So where you are giving this Madurai? At the output string. Understand? So what's the use of this input of function? So it will accept the data and from the where? From accept the data from the user in which place? At runtime. So in this place I am giving inside the input of function I am giving prompt string as enter your city. So what output you will get? Enter your city. So in which place I am giving this input? At runtime or output screen Madurai. Understand? Yes. Next thing I am going to print. Print I am from city of. So one statement I have given inside printf function and I am calling the variable called city. Okay. So already in city I have stored what's the result I have stored? Madurai. The what output you will get? I am from city. What answer already I have typed? Madurai. So I am from Madurai. Understand? This is input with prompt string. What do you mean by prompt string? Things we have mentioned inside the input of function. Understand? Understand? So differentiate and study with the prompt string and without prompt string. Okay. So next example, input of function without prompt string. Okay. Listen. What's this one? Variable name. What's the variable name? City equal to input of whether I have given inside anything or any message or any statements I have given inside this input of function. No. Whether the prompt string is here? No. While I am executing the program, city equal to input of. So in this input, so I have given something. Rajarajan or anything I have given. Okay. Next line I am giving, I am from city of. Then the what output you will get? I am from this output you will get. Okay. Understand? So here with the prompt string. So inside I have given some message, but inside the input of function I am not giving any message, but inside the print of function I am giving I am from. So already what result you have stored in the input of function, it will display here. Okay. So this input of function, so it will accept all the data as a string or characters. Understand? So it will accept all the data. What are the inputs you have given? So it will accept all the data as a what? String or characters. What do you mean by string? Already I said. String means either it may be a paragraph or sentence. Okay. But it will not accept as a numbers. Okay. But it will not accept as a numbers. Either you need to give input in the form of string, word or sentence or symbol characters A or B or anything. Not as numbers. Okay. So if you are entering some number or numerical values means it should convert that number into a data types. Okay. That means numeric data type. What's the numeric data type? Already you have studied. For example, 1, 2, 3. What's the data type for that numbers? Integers. Int of. Okay. So the particular numbers you have entered in the program means, so it will convert into a proper data type. Okay. What's the data type? Number means integer. That means integer. This will convert the particular string data into a integer. So this data conversions and all already you have studied thorough in your 11th standard portion. So if you have studied thorough, your volume 2 means it will be easy for this 12th standard. So in this slide, what are the things you have studied? Input of function with prompt string and without prompt string. Understand? What do you mean by prompt string? So inside the statements you are given inside input of function. So what's the prompt string here? Enter your city. So I am storing this value as in the variable city. Next print of function I am giving I am from and calling the variable city. The same result display here. Next thing is input of function without prompt string. So I am not giving any values or statements inside the input of function, but if I run the program, it will in the screen will empty. So whatever the inputs you are given, that value is taken as a output for variable city. Okay, then that variable I am giving assigning here in the printf function. Understand? So what are the inputs you can able to give? Either in the form of string or characters, but not, it will not accept as a numbers. Okay, so if you are given the input in number means, so it will convert into particular data type. So integer means which data type you need to specify? Int. Understand? So this is the example of that one. So here I have mentioned, so because I am going to enter numbers here. Okay. So for numbers, which type of data type you need to use? For numbers, which kind of data type you need to use? Int. So x equal to int. What function I am using? Input of. What this one? Prompt string. So x equal to int, input of enter number 1. Okay. Then y equal to next number. Y equal to int. That number also integer. So int. Then inside the input of function I am giving enter the number 2. So I have entered. I am giving 2 inputs. Already I have given 2 inputs in the variable x and y. Next thing, I am going to add these 2 numbers. I am going to display the result of 2 numbers in the variable the sum. Understand? So I am printing inside the printf function. I am giving the sum equal to, I am add which variables I need to add? X and y, because y first number is stored in the variable x. You are entering the first number in which variable? Enter the number 1. So which variable the particular number will store? X. Second number, enter the number 2. Particular number will store in next variable called y. Enter the number 2. Understand? So that 2 numbers I am storing in the variable called the sum. So in print of screen, which one it will come? If we are giving print the sum means in that output screen it will display the sum. So x plus y means whatever the values you are entering in the number 1 and 2, it will add the particular 2 values and the result will be displayed to you. Understand? So listen, in output screen, what result you will get or what output you will get? Enter the number 1. So I am entering the first number as a 34. Either you will enter 5 or 6 or 8. Second, enter number 2. What's the second number I need to enter? I am entering the second number is 56. So in what the third line it will display? The sum. So what's the sum? 56 plus 34, the answer will be 90. Understood? So this program, you are giving this input of function with data types int. Why? We are specifying data type as int. Here you are going to enter the numbers. Understand? Listen, the same program you are specified in some another method. Okay, the same program only you are specified in some other method, or you are using another alternative method to display the same program. Okay, listen. So I am going to write the 2 numbers in same line. Okay, the same program I am going to write that I am going to enter the 2 numbers in a same line. Listen. So same line, how many variables you need? So you are going to add 2 variables. Further, how many variables you need? 2. So what are the variables? X and y. Understand? So inside that I am giving int. Same. Int input enter number 1. Listen the bracket. Near to the integer int of I am opening one bracket. Then input of another bracket. So how many brackets I need to close here? 2. Understand? Comma. Next variable y. Same data type you need to specify. Int. Open bracket. Input of next bracket. Enter number. How many brackets you need to close? 2. Understand? So same line I am giving input of 2 numbers. In which variables? 2 variables. What are they? X and y. Okay. So now I need to print these 2 variables. For that, I am assigning these 2 variables, small letter x and y, to capital letter x and y. Understand what's the meaning of this one? So I am printing this variable. That means I am assigning particular enter number 1. That value I am assigning to capital letter X. Okay. Next thing, enter the value number 2. That number, that small variable y, no, that I am assigning in another variable called small y. Understand? So within these two lines, so I am executing this program, I will get the same out. Okay. But here, I am not going to add these two numbers. Simply, I am displaying what are the numbers I have entered as an input. The same thing I am displaying in another variable. Understand what's the aim of this program? So I am going to enter the two numbers. For that inputs I am giving in one line. Then I am assigning that same variable in another variable. And I am going to display that output. Understand? So if you run the program, what output you will get? Enter number 1. So you are entering or giving input in a runtime. First number I am giving as a 30. Second, input enter number 2. So second number I am giving as a 50. So what's the value of small x now? 30. What's the value of small y now? 50. So I am assigning the small x to variable capital X. So what's the value of capital X now? 30. Then what's the value of a capital letter y now? 50. Understand? Understand this program? So next thing is comments in Python. Okay, what do you mean by comments? So listen, this comments already you have studied in your C++ also. Okay, so comment means, what's the meaning of comments? Comment means normally don't think about your comment, okay? So in programming language, what's the meaning of comments? So listen, so in programming language, what's the meaning of comments? Okay. So what's the meaning of comments in programming language? So it is a instructions. Comment means nothing but instructions. Okay. Instructions what you are following are instructions that you are given in a program. That is called as comments. Okay. So already in C++ program also you have studied about this comments. So this comments always begin with which symbol, means hash symbol. Okay. This comment, for example, I am telling one simple example, then only you will get understand. So last year your practical programs, in near to your practical programs, that near to each line, so with the hash symbol they will wrote something. For example, integer a, there they will write near to the hash symbol data declaration. Then void readof, near to that they will denote as hash symbol function declaration. What's the meaning of that one? By reading that command lines, you can able to understand this is the meaning of this line, or this is the working of this line. Understood? But while you are running the program, whether the particular things denoted inside the command line, the compiler will take for running the program? No. Compiler won't take the lines you have mentioned in the hash symbol. Okay, the things you have mentioned within the hash symbol, compiler or interpreter don't take for that output purpose. Understand that for your understanding purpose they have given. Understand? So listen. So the comments always begin with which symbol? Hash symbol. Okay, comments always begins with which symbol? Hash symbol. Okay, so the comments, the lines begin with the hash symbol means already I said. So in the program already you have given this hash symbol, lines beginning with hash symbol mean particular program, compiler or interpreter won't consider that line as a programming line. Okay, so what's the meaning of that one? So the particular lines begin with hash symbol means Python. So which programming language you are studying? Python. So whether Python has interpreter or compiler. What's the difference between interpreter and compiler? Last class I explained. Compiler means you need to type the program, save the program, then compile it, then you need to run the program. That is compilation or compiler. Here, interrupter means what you will do? You will type the program, save the program, directly you will run the program. Compilation step you have skipped. That's the use of interrupter. Okay. So, while you are running the program, particular interrupter won't consider that line as a programming line. Understand? So this command lines may be either the command line can be given as a single command line or multi lines also you can able to give. Okay. So command lines may be a single command line or multiple command line. What's the meaning means if you are giving multiple command line means that line should begin with hash symbol and ends with hash symbol. Okay. So the particular commands will be enclosed within hash symbol. Understand? So if you are giving commands in multi-lines means what's the format you need to follow? The commands should start with begins with hash symbol and the commands ends with hash symbol. Where you need to follow this one? If you are giving multi-line command means, okay. Single line commands you are giving means no need. Only beginning enough. See this example. So it is a single line command. So where I need to put this command line, that hash symbol first. Then next you are giving multiple command lines. So starting I am giving this hash symbol as well as ending also I am giving hash symbol. Understand what I mean by command lines? Yes. Next thing is indentation. Indentation or indentation. What do you mean by that indentation means? Okay. In program we are using blocks. Listen. So here white spaces. What do you mean by white spaces mean? Spaces as well as tabs. Okay. So normally for example I am telling in a C++ program how you will denote as a blocks. For example void read data of leave it that one. Struct student of. Okay, struct student of. Then what you will do? Curly brace. Then int height, weight, float, width. That and all you will do. So listen students. So what example I said? So in C++ program, struct student of. Inside that what you will do? Open brace, int height, float, weight. That and all you will know. And then you will close the close brace. That we are calling as an what? Blocks. So that blocks only. Here in Python language, you are not giving that curly brace to represent that block. Okay. So instead of that, instead of giving curly brace, you are using what symbol you are using means white spaces and tabs. That means space, tab and tab button. Okay. Instead of you are giving that curly braces, you are using which one? Tabs as well as spaces to represent blocks. Okay. So where and all you are going to use these blocks? In classes, functions or loops. What do you mean by loop? For loop. Or classes. One example I said no. Class student, int, height, weight. That and all. Understand? So instead of giving that curly braces, but in C and C++ program, you are using this curly braces to represent particular block. But in Python, you are not using that curly braces to represent that. Instead of that, you are using which one? Spaces and tabs. Okay. So, how much, but what here means, number of spaces you need to use is not fixed. Okay. So, and one condition is, so you are using 2 spaces for one function means the same thing you need to follow till the end. Understood? For example, first line you are using 2 space tab. Next line you are using 4 space tab. That's not correct. Okay. So, that how much number of tab you are using is not fixed. But if you are using that 2 means till the end of the function you should use the same. Understand what I am telling? So what do you mean by indentation? Indentation represents spaces and tabs in program blocks. So instead of using that curly braces to represent the block, here you are using spaces and tabs. Okay. So listen. So up to this today's portions I am completing. So because next thing is in token heading, that's important 5-mark question. I will explain tomorrow. Okay. So before I am going to complete this session, what are the things I need to, so what are the things I have taught today? Just recall what are the things? Functions. What are the functions? Input of function, print of functions. What's the use of input and print of functions? Some example programs also I taught. So please study today itself. So next class I'll continue remaining things. So all the what are the things I taught, please study today itself. Okay. So after completion of this chapter, so I'll mark the question answers from chapter 1 and from 1 to 5. Understood? So this chapter, please study the what are the steps we are following to use Python. And also listen, one assignment I am giving. So in the chapter, wait, in the chapter, so in chapter 4, algorithmic strategies. So in the chapter 4, algorithmic strategies, what are the algorithms I taught? Linear search, binary search. The linear search and binary search algorithms you should write. Okay, write as assignment. Linear search and binary search algorithm you should write as assignment. What are the things I told you to write as assignment? So I will see after the school reopening. So thank you students. Please write it and study well. Thank you.